Hey guys, it's Applebob here, and today I want to talk to you about the power of introductions. I think we underestimate just how powerful it is for one person to be able to introduce you to someone else. It can really change your life. It changed mine a couple years ago when I transferred here from New York to Tennessee. I had a guy named Dr. Jerry, one of my professors, who heard about my situation, who heard how stressed I was to just be here in Tennessee in the first place. Couldn't make any friends, couldn't connect with people. I felt miserable and I wanted to transfer back to New York as quickly as possible. But he introduced me to one man. That man's name was Tim. And Tim has connected me in ways that I never thought was possible to so many communities. This one man changed the course of my life. When I was in my lowest point, this girl broke my heart and I just didn't know how to handle it. He was there for me. He would listen to my calls. He would let me come over his house. He invited me in pretty much like a family. I was invited to his Christmas celebrations because my mom doesn't even live in the States. I mean, she lives in Hawaii, but that's so far away. I went over there for Thanksgiving. His wife ended up introducing me to 3 different jobs that I wouldn't have had otherwise. One roommate in his house introduced me to another job, and he also introduced me to the church that I would go to for the next 3 years. I met people there who have been instrumental in my spiritual development, in my career development, and how I see myself. It was really, really powerful. One person was able to connect me in that many ways. Never underestimate the power of introductions. A couple months ago, this year, it was around June, I decided to go to a nightclub for the first time. Now, I come from a very strict Christian environment. I was never supposed to go to places like a nightclub. But at the time, I wasn't in church and I was missing community. I wanted to be able to talk with people who had different perspectives. I was used to hearing a lot of the Christian perspective for most of my life. That's great, but I missed hearing about people who didn't agree with me. I wanted to talk to people who came from another side, another background, and be able to connect with people like that too, because that's the thing that I love most, meeting new people. I went to this nightclub actually a few months ago, and I was dancing a little bit. Actually, let me show you how I did a little bit of my moves. So here I am, I'm dancing, I'm loving it. Sorry, dancing's over. But it turns out that one of the bartenders there, we're gonna call her Carol, okay? So Carol came up to me and she was like, "Hey, I want to introduce you to 2 people that I think you would like." And I said, "Okay, introduce me to them." So I followed her as she walked up this small case of steps. It was really only one step, so it wasn't really a staircase. But anyways, there these 2 individuals stood, and she said, "This is Toby, and this is Chloe. This is Jordan. He's been coming here for a couple days now, and he's very friendly. And these are some really good, genuine people that I think you would like to get to know." And these 2 people have really changed my life. I've been able to meet 2 of some of the most fascinating people that I've ever met. People who accepted me for who I was and where I was, no matter what. That was something that I had been wanting for so long, to be able to be myself around people and not have to worry about how does this person see me or how does that person see me. I was able to be me and drink water. I was at a club and I only ordered water and everyone thought that was crazy, but I was still accepted for being who I was. I'll tell you, this one time Chloe invited me to her house and I had some of the most fun in my whole life that one night. The conversations that we had, how much we were able to get to know each other, it was just incredible. Toby was there, and I met this other guy who has since become one of my closest friends as well. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that bartender introducing me to these two individuals. And I'll say this again. One person introducing you to either another person or a group of people or a community can affect you beyond what you could think of. Now, as far as how have I been able to introduce other people, I actually had a hard time thinking about it. It took me a minute to kind of think of who was I actually able to introduce. Of all the people that I know, as easy it is for me to talk with people, I had a hard time thinking of who, I actually introduced. There's one story that stands out. It's the story of Gavin. Now, I met Gavin in a literature class in college, and it's not about the class, but I played this game called Love Live School Idol Festival. Now, that's a rhythm game with cute anime girls and cute songs and every single day I would play that game, like literally every day. I would walk into the class playing this game, and Gavin was playing this game called Geometry Dash. They're both pretty much rhythm games for the uninitiated. But anyways, I did not actually talk to him the first day. It actually took a whole month for me to meet him. But anyways, I ended up showing him my game because I just like showing my games to people. And he said, "Oh, I play a rhythm game too. Let me show you mine." And I was like, "Wow, another gamer, another passionate person who's excited to game." So we did that together and ended up forming a friendship that way. Skip several months down the road. He's back in Alaska where he's from and living with his parents. One thing about Gavin, though, is that he realized he was actually bisexual. And there was a guy that he met online that he really liked and wanted to be in a relationship with. Now, when his parents, who are pastors who plant churches in the Christian tradition, found out about that, they weren't too pleased. Gavin didn't just tell his parents about it, but they found out. And they pretty much gave him an ultimatum. They said, if you don't choose to let this guy go, then we're going to kick you out of the house. You can't live here. We're not going to tolerate that sort of behavior in our house. That's pretty much what they said. Or you can let it all go, and we'll forgive you, and you can stay here, and everything will be great. Now, Gavin is a man that is independent. He does not like to have his freedom violated. He wants to experience things on his own. So he decided that he wanted to continue with the relationship. So that led to him actually being thrown out on the street in Alaska in the middle of winter. So he calls me, his friend from literature class that played video games together, okay? We're good friends, and I care about this guy a lot. So he calls me, and he tells me the situation, and I went in to do everything I can to help this guy out mode. Long story short, I'm not going to get into all the details, but we're able to figure out how to get this guy from Alaska to Tennessee to move in with none other than Tim, who Jerry introduced me to. I was living at Tim's house at the time, and he had a vacancy for one of the rooms. So we were able to figure it out financially, and I called United Airlines. He had a hard time. He was just kind of hysterical, so I wanted to do everything in my power to make it as easy as possible for him to get here. It was my job. I almost felt a responsibility to him as a friend to make sure that he does not freeze and starve on the streets of Alaska because of his family's decision to abandon him. I wasn't going to let that happen. I was able to introduce him to Tim in a context that was able to save his life and change his life. And to this day, we're still close friends. I actually asked him if I could share a story on this video, and thankfully he said yes. Never underestimate the power of introductions. And the reason I'm making this video is because you're saying that one person has the power to really change someone's life just by saying, "Hey, so-and-so, this is my friend, and I want him to get to know you." You never know just what you can do through introducing someone that you know that's good natured. You feel like they would connect with the particular group that you're connected to. And that brings me to one more thing. I don't want to give too much advice or anything like that, but if you have toxic people in your life, I'm just going to tell you, it's not worth it. If you feel like someone is draining you, if you feel like someone is using you, if you feel like a community is just pretty much trying to take advantage of you, or you feel like you're wasting your time and you want to be with people who are different and you can make that change, then give it your all to make that change. Because the more positive the community that you surround yourself with, the more confidently you can extend your hand and bring someone else in and possibly change their life. Thank you for watching. Please give this a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe as well. I'm definitely trying something different. I want to be able to encourage people personally. That's kind of the motivation for this video, to encourage people where they are. So eventually I'll be using anime with this and other media and maybe talking about other things, but I was really, really inspired to make this video. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.